She's in the ICU. It's really bad. That was the sentence that made him drop everything. Not because of fear alone, but because of what it made him believe about love, trust, and the person standing in front of him. Tonight's story begins with a man making breakfast on an ordinary Thursday morning, and ends with him realizing that for 2 years, he wasn't building a relationship. He was living inside a carefully managed illusion. Because sometimes, the truth doesn't arrive through confession. It arrives through something small, accidental, and impossible to ignore. Before we begin, this is a fictionalized story created for entertainment and storytelling purposes. Names, characters, places, and events have been invented and/or altered. Any resemblance to real people or real situations is purely coincidental. AI was used only to assist with language polishing and voice production. The concept, structure, emotional framing, and final narrative are human-created.
My girlfriend faked her grandmother's stroke to party with her ex at a music festival. I found out through TikTok. My girlfriend said, "Grandma Ruth had a stroke. I need to go to Tucson right now," lying to my face while I was literally scrambling eggs for breakfast Thursday morning. So I changed the locks and let her parents know what really happened. What came next destroyed her entire support system in 48 hours. I'm Drew, 32, high school history teacher in Phoenix. I've been with Michelle, 30, for 2 years. She's a UX designer, works hybrid, and we've been living together for about 8 months. Things have been fine, good, mostly. She likes going out with friends on weekends. I'm more of a hiking and reading guy, but we balanced it. Thursday morning, 6:45 a.m., everything changed. I was making breakfast. Michelle's phone rang, and I heard her gasp from the bedroom. She came out crying, mascara already running. "Baby, it's Grandma Ruth. She had a stroke. She's in ICU in Tucson. It's really bad." I immediately offered to call in a sub, drive down with her. Nope. She insisted on going alone. "You have that field trip Friday. You can't miss it. I'll be fine. Mom and Dad are already on their way." Red flag? Maybe. But her grandmother is 76 and Michelle seemed genuinely devastated, so I didn't question it. And to be fair, I was kind of in a panic too. I mean, how can you not be a little concerned when you hear someone's in a health crisis? I helped her pack, gave her $200 cash for emergencies, told her to drive safe. For the next 48 hours, I actually got regular updates from Michelle about her grandmother's condition. Thursday night, Grandma's stable but unresponsive. Doctors say the next 24 hours are critical. Friday afternoon, she squeezed Mom's hand. We're praying. Saturday morning, doctor says her brain activity is minimal. We're preparing for the worst. I was planning to drive down Saturday after my field trip when my colleague Jared walked into the teacher's lounge scrolling TikTok. "Yo, Drew, isn't this your girl?" My stomach dropped before I even looked at his phone. The video was posted 15 minutes ago. Desert Bloom Music Festival in Nevada, 2 states away from Tucson. The camera pans across the crowd, and there's Michelle, clear as day. Her signature hummingbird wrist tattoo, the turquoise crop top I bought her for her birthday, her hair in those space buns she only does for festivals. And there's a guy's arm around her waist, heavily tattooed. The camera catches his face for a second, and I immediately recognized him. Dylan Blaze Morrison, her ex, the one she told me was toxic and completely out of her life. I stood there in the teacher's lounge, holding a stack of permission slips, watching my girlfriend dance at a music festival with another man, while I'd spent 2 days worried sick about her dying grandmother. I called. Straight to voicemail. Called again. Still voicemail. Texted, "Call me now." She responded 20 minutes later, "Can't talk. In ICU waiting room. Signal is terrible. Love you." The freaking audacity. Here's where I maybe went too far. Reddit. But I was seeing red. I was literally shaking. I called her mom, Lorraine. I had to take a deep breath before I could even find my voice. "Hey Lorraine, I'm so sorry about Ruth. I wanted to send some flowers and food to the hospital." "Which facility in Tucson are you at?" Long pause. What do you mean hospital? Didn't Ruth have a stroke the other day?" Michelle looked really devastated when she told me she had to go back to Tucson. Another pause. When Lorraine spoke again, her voice carried this careful hesitation. "Drew, honey, Ruth is at her house in Scottsdale. She's fine. She's literally baking snickerdoodles right now. We thought Michelle was staying home with you this weekend." I felt like I'd been punched in the chest. I couldn't even form words. "Drew, are you there? Is Michelle okay? Sorry. Just let me send you something. You'll understand then. Then I hung up and sent her the TikTok link. 5 minutes later, my phone exploded. Michelle calling. I let it ring. She called 3 more times. Finally, I answered. Michelle didn't even wait a second before screaming into the phone. You told my parents? You went behind my back and called my mom. You told me your grandmother had a stroke and that you were at the hospital with your parents. Who else was I supposed to call when I found out my girlfriend might be lying to me about that? It's just a white lie. I needed a weekend to decompress. You're always so boring, Drew. I just wanted to have fun for once. Dylan invited me to the festival, and I knew you'd be weird about it. I was still processing, and you thought making me believe your grandmother was dying instead was a good idea? Oh my God, you're so dramatic. Grandma Ruth is fine. I would have told you after the weekend. This is why I didn't tell you. You can't just let me have anything. Then my phone buzzed. Incoming call from Victor. Michelle, your dad's calling me. I'm adding him. What? No, I merged the call anyway. Victor's voice came through, ice cold. Michelle Marie, I just got off the phone with your mother. She's been crying. We can't believe you could use your grandmother's name to lie to everyone. Silence on Michelle's end. I'm looking at our family account right now, Victor continued. I could hear keyboard clicking through the phone. Your cell line, canceled. Car insurance, under our policy, canceled. Emergency credit card, canceled. Gym membership we pay for, canceled. You want to be an adult who lies to everyone? Be an adult who pays for everything. Michelle started screaming. Dad, no, you can't do this. Drew, this is your fault for being a snitch, I said very calmly. I hope Grandma Ruth pulls through. I'm going to send her my condolences. Then I hung up on both of them. I changed my apartment's smart lock code immediately. Removed Michelle from my building's guest list. Texted her. Your things will be packed by Monday. Coordinate with building security to pick them up. We're done. Don't contact me again. Spent the rest of Saturday boxing up her stuff. Found 3 different festival wristbands she'd lost over the past year. Found receipts for bottle service at clubs. On nights, she said she was working late. I'm sitting here at 2 a.m. Can't sleep. My coffee from 6 hours ago is still sitting here. Cold as my trust right now. Apparently, I have been dating a complete stranger this whole time. Det one. Holy crap, this blew up. To answer your questions, yes, the smart lock change was legal. She's not on the lease, just a guest who stayed over a lot. Building management confirmed. To everyone saying I should have driven to Tucson to check, I trusted her. That's the whole point. I didn't think I needed to verify my girlfriend's grandmother was dying. Someone asked about Dylan. Looked him up after posting this. Guy has a record. Domestic violence charge, 2019. Possession with intent, 2021. Violating restraining order, 2022. Real winner. And yes, Michelle knew all this. Interesting, right? Update 1. 6 days later. You guys called it. She showed up. With Dylan Sunday afternoon, I was meal prepping in my apartment when building security called, Mr. Morgan, you have visitors. A Michelle and a gentleman. They're requesting to come up. I told Anita, head of security, former MP, absolute legend, that Michelle is not on the approved list and can pick up her boxes from the mailroom during business hours Monday. Copy that, Mr. Morgan. 2 minutes later, Anita called back. Sir, the woman is claiming medical emergency. Says she has medication in your apartment that she needs immediately. She's lying. The only medication she kept here was birth control. It's packed in box 3. She can show ID and sign for it in the lobby. I heard Michelle's voice in the background. This is illegal. You can't keep my property. Anita, bless her, asked me, Mr. Morgan, do I have your permission to open the box to verify contents and provide only verified medication? Absolutely. Apparently, they made Michelle open box 3 right there in the lobby. It contained birth control, some skincare products, her hairdryer, and a journal where she'd written Mrs. Dylan Morrison repeatedly on one page. Anita showed me security footage later. I tipped her $50. That's when Dylan decided to escalate, started yelling about how I need to come down and handle this like a man, threatened to come up there and teach me a lesson about respect. Anita stepped between them and the elevator. Sir, this is a private residential community. Threats of violence are grounds for trespass notice and police involvement. You have 30 seconds to exit the building. Dylan tried the tough guy stance for about 5 seconds before backing down. Turns out, wannabe rappers aren't that tough when confronted by a 5'9" woman with MP training. How surprising. But here's where it got interesting. While they were in the lobby, my phone buzzed. Facebook notification. Michelle's mom, Lorraine, had commented on Michelle's Facebook post from Friday, the one where she'd posted "Pray for Grandma Ruth" with a candle emoji. Lorraine's comment, public for all 847 of Michelle's friends to see. Grandma Ruth is fine. Here she is playing pickleball this morning. With a photo. Timestamped Saturday, 9:47 a.m., while Michelle was supposedly in the ICU. The post got deleted within minutes, but screenshots live forever. Cousins, aunts, old high school friends, everyone who knows Michelle and her family started sharing it. Michelle's carefully curated social media presence was crumbling in real time. Back in my lobby, things were deteriorating. Michelle demanded her car key fob. I'd texted her earlier that her car needed to be moved from the resident parking garage within 24 hours, or it would be towed per HOA rules. She screamed that I was stealing her car. Anita calmly explained, "Ma'am, your vehicle registration doesn't list this address. You're not a resident. You're not on the lease. You're parked in resident-only parking. The tow truck will be here in 3 minutes if the vehicle isn't moved." Michelle started crying. Real tears this time. Dylan, apparently having had enough, said, "Yo, this is too much drama even for me," and headed for the exit. That's when I decided to be petty. I texted Dylan from my apartment, "Hey man, hope you know about Michelle's 2 a.m. texts Thursday night before she left. The ones calling you a fun distraction and nostalgia trip while she was planning to come back to me Sunday." My buddy Jake has the screenshots. I don't know what Jake has. Jake doesn't exist. But Dylan didn't know that. He stopped walking, looked at his phone, looked at Michelle. His whole face changed. They started arguing right there in my lobby. Anita said, later it was the most entertaining thing she'd seen since someone's affair partner and spouse showed up at the same time in 2019. Dylan ended up leaving Michelle and whatever they had behind. Security footage shows Michelle sitting on the lobby couch for 20 minutes before calling an Uber. One of the boxes she'd been so desperate for? She left it. It's still in our mailroom, unclaimed. The next day, Monday, I got an email from my school district's HR. Michelle had filed a formal harassment complaint, said I was stalking her, threatening her, and interfering with her employment. I forwarded them our entire text thread. All I'd sent her for the past few days was, "Your belongings are ready for pickup, and please don't contact me again." HR sent her a formal written warning about filing false complaints and a cease and desist letter. Apparently making up lies about district employees can get you blacklisted from ever working with the school system. Who knew? It's been quiet from her side ever since. I'm still processing all of this. It's been 6 days and I'm just tired. This whole thing was just so ridiculous. But I also felt weirdly relieved, like I dodged something that would have gotten worse. Edit. Lots of questions about Dylan's reaction. I don't actually know what happened with them after the lobby incident. Don't care. Not my circus anymore. Yes, I kept the journal page. And yes, I'm keeping it in case I need documentation for anything legal. She wrote that date, April 2024, 3 months into our relationship. To the person who said I'm enjoying this too much, you're probably right. But I spent 2 days worrying like crazy, believing her grandmother was dying. I get to enjoy watching the House of Cards fall. 2. The legal threats started. The financial reality hit her. And I learned exactly how far people will go when consequences actually arrive. 2 weeks ago, I got a certified letter from Michelle's lawyer, demanding $2,500 for emotional distress and illegal eviction. They claimed I'd forced her out without proper notice, and that I owed her compensation for shared expenses. Reddit, I don't even know where to start with how wrong that was. I called my cousin James. He's a paralegal in California, not Arizona. But he knows people. He put me in touch with someone local who laughed when they read the letter. Your ex isn't a tenant. She's not on the lease. She's not even a documented long-term guest per your building's records. She has zero legal standing. This is a shakedown letter from a lawyer who probably knows better. We sent back a formal response. Michelle was a guest with no tenancy rights. No rent was paid, no lease existed. The demand was frivolous and without merit. We suggested her attorney review Arizona Residential Landlord and Tenant Act before proceeding. They never responded because they knew they were hoping I'd settle out of fear. That same week, Michelle's financial house of cards started collapsing for real. Remember how Victor canceled her car insurance? She didn't get new coverage. Got pulled over Thursday for a broken taillight. No insurance. Vehicle impounded. Impound fees, $420, plus citation. Plus she now needs insurance before she can get it out. She texted me, "You owe me this. You turned my family against me. The least you can do is help." I didn't respond. Friday afternoon, Michelle showed up at my gym with Megan. I spotted them as I was leaving, Michelle pretending to coincidentally run into me. Oh my God, Drew. Megan and I were just trying out this gym. Except Megan looked uncomfortable. Really uncomfortable. She was holding her phone recording. I looked at both of them. Michelle, this is the third time you've coincidentally been somewhere I am this week. Michelle's face went red. You're being paranoid. I'm being clear. Stop following me. I walked away. That night, Megan sent me the video with a message. I'm sorry, she told me she just wanted closure. I didn't know she'd been doing this all week. I recorded it because something felt off. She's obsessed. I can't be part of this anymore. The work situation got weirder. Michelle filed the HR complaint with my school district. It failed. So she tried to file a complaint with my principal directly. Said I was creating a hostile work environment by discussing her private life with colleagues. My principal called me in. I showed him everything, the timeline, the TikTok, the texts, the false grandmother emergency. How I'd been refusing to engage with her directly and trying to stop her harassment. He was quiet for a long moment. Then, Drew, you're one of our most professional teachers. You didn't bring this to work, she did. Document everything. If she contacts the school again, we'll pursue legal action. Then the family stuff reached a new level. Victor called me Tuesday night. Drew, I need to tell you something. Michelle asked us to co-sign a loan, $9,000. She says she needs it to move to California and start fresh. What did you say? I said no. Lorraine said no. Ruth said absolutely not. He paused. She told us you'd ruined her life and we were choosing your side. Drew, we're not choosing sides. We're choosing reality. She's 30 years old and she's never faced consequences for anything. I appreciate you telling me. There's more. She posted in a family group chat that we're enabling your abuse by not supporting her. My mother, Ruth, replied to the whole family. The only abuse here is lying about my health for party money. Drew gave you more respect than you gave any of us. The family chat, I later learned, included aunts, uncles, and cousins spanning 3 states. Michelle was eventually removed from the chat. Several relatives blocked her on social media. Yesterday, Sophie, Michelle's younger sister, called me. Not texted, called. Drew, I'm sorry for all of it. I didn't know everything she'd done. She told me you'd kicked her out over a misunderstanding. I just found out she lied about Grandma. I can't even. It's okay, Sophie. It's not. She's my sister and I love her, but she needs to fix this herself. Mom and Dad are making her live with the consequences. No money, no help. She's staying in some shared house in Tempe with 3 roommates, working night shifts at a coffee shop. Part of me felt bad. Most of me felt nothing. Just tired. The lawyer who sent the shakedown letter dropped her as a client. She's been sending me paragraph-long texts that I don't read. My phone automatically filters her number to a hidden folder now. Dylan blocked her after a week. Apparently even toxic ex-boyfriends have standards. My principal gave me a commendation letter for exemplary conduct during personal hardship after Michelle's harassment attempt. It's going in my personnel file. I've been hiking most weekends. Started going to a climbing gym instead of my regular gym, just in case. Signed up for a summer workshop on teaching Arizona history. And here's the thing, I feel lighter. Not happy, not sad, just clear. Like someone removed a weight I didn't know I was carrying. Debt. People asking if I feel guilty about how far this went. No. I told the truth. I changed my locks. I set boundaries. Everything else was her choices cascading into consequences. The coffee shop is paying $15 per hour plus tips. She's working 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. shifts. She posted about it on Instagram, public account, before you ask. Humbled and growing. Sure, Michelle. Sure, final 2 slice. This is the last update, not because there's drama left, because there's finally peace. Last month, the district HR formally blacklisted Michelle from all future contact with any school in our system. It's unusual, but filing multiple false complaints will do that. They sent me a memo. Any future contact from this individual should be immediately reported to administration. My principal told me privately, we see about one of these every few years. Someone tries to weaponize HR because a relationship ended. Never works. Always backfires. The legal stuff resolved completely. No lawsuit, no settlement, nothing. Her attorney officially withdrew. I got a one-sentence email. Our firm is no longer representing Miss Last Name in this matter. That was it. Michelle kept the coffee shop job for 6 weeks, then quit. According to Sophie, who I occasionally text with, she's a good kid. Michelle found better opportunities in Scottsdale. She's bartending at a country club pool bar 3 nights a week. Dylan's Instagram suggests he's dating someone new. Definitely not Michelle. The family dynamics settled into a new normal. Victor and Lorraine cut Michelle off financially for 90 days as a reset period. They're helping her now with groceries and gas, but not rent, not insurance, not fun money. Easter at Ruth's house was awkward. Ruth invited me 2 weeks prior. Drew, you're coming to Easter dinner. No arguments. You helped me plant my tomatoes last month. Your family now. I tried to decline. Ruth, Michelle will be there. Good. She needs to see what accountability looks like. So I went. Brought a green bean casserole and a case of beer for Victor. Michelle arrived 20 minutes late, empty-handed. In Ruth's house, where everyone brings a dish, that's basically showing up to a funeral in a Hawaiian shirt. The table had 15 people. Ruth sat me between Sophie and Lorraine. Michelle ended up at the far end next to an aunt who clearly didn't know the full story and kept asking her about that nice teaching boyfriend. Michelle mumbled something about us breaking up. Didn't look at me once. The dinner lasted 90 minutes. Michelle picked at her food, checked her phone 4 times, and left before dessert with an excuse about an early shift. Ruth watched her go, shook her head, then announced to the table, "Love doesn't mean enabling. We can still love Michelle and choose not to support her choices at the same time. Now who wants pie?" After dinner, I helped Ruth with dishes. She dried while I washed. "You did the right thing, Drew." She handed me a plate. I'm not saying that as her grandmother. I'm saying it as someone who's lived 76 years and seen this pattern before. Life's too long to waste on people who turn your love into their alibi. She sent me home with half an apple pie and enough fried chicken for 3 days. Sophie texted me that night. "Thank you for coming. It meant a lot to Grandma. And honestly, to me too." She sent me home with apple pie and a Tupperware of fried chicken. As for me, I'm doing more than fine. The history club field trip I was preparing during all this chaos went perfectly. Took 30 kids to Montezuma Castle. 2 of them told me it was the best trip they'd ever been on. That meant more than any of the drama. I've been hiking Camelback Mountain every Saturday. Started dating someone I met at the climbing gym. Lena, 29, environmental engineer. We've been on 4 dates. She has her own apartment, her own car, and her own health insurance. Revolutionary concepts, apparently. She knows the whole story. I told her on date 2 because I'm not hiding anything anymore. Her response, "So you mean you have clear boundaries and don't accept lies?" Sounds healthy. We're taking it slow, really slow. I'm not rushing into anything. I deleted most of Michelle's texts without reading them. The last one I saw 2 weeks ago was, "I'm sorry, I know that doesn't fix anything, but I am." Maybe she is, maybe she's not. Maybe she's sorry she got caught, or sorry she lost her safety net, or actually genuinely sorry for lying. It doesn't matter anymore. That's it, Reddit. I'm out. Thanks for listening, for the advice, and for reminding me that I'm not crazy for expecting basic honesty. Peace.
Alright, that's all for today's story. This wasn't just about cheating. It wasn't even about lying. It was about how far someone is willing to go to protect a version of themselves that doesn't exist. Because the most dangerous kind of betrayal isn't loud. It's consistent, it's comfortable, it's believable, right up until the moment it collapses. And when it does, it doesn't just take the relationship with it. It takes every illusion that made that relationship possible. Here's what I think. Trust is not built on words. It's built on alignment between what someone says and what they do when you're not watching. The moment those two things separate, The relationship is already over. You just haven't seen it yet. And maybe the hardest lesson here is this. You don't lose people when you set boundaries. You reveal who was only there because you didn't have any. If you've ever had a moment where something felt off, something small, something you couldn't explain, don't ignore it, because sometimes that's not paranoia. That's clarity, trying to get your attention. Let me know what you think. See you in the next story.